I would ask you the very important question. The recently introduced Viksit Bharat Shiksha Adhistan bill in the Indian Parliament, and that has raised a lot of conversation, debate in the media. I would like to know from this platform how this bill will impact largely on the higher education sector and the B school overall.
But before that, Deep, thank you very much. Thanks to Deep Associates for inviting me over for this meaningful conversation. So, you have asked a question about VBSA. Yes, in education sector, this is the most discussed topic right now. When the new education policy, the national education policy, came up in 2020, it was a framework which was given, but a lot of things which that framework coaxed the institutes and the universities, higher educational institutions to do were dependent on what is going to be the regulatory framework, quality or accreditation framework in the country.
Right.
And therefore, although the higher education institutions adopted the NEP, but it did not have that kind of edge or that speed with which it should have gone into the daily routine of the institutions. With VBSA coming in, where it is a single body which will combine the right now existent UGC, AICTE or NCET. NCET is the National Common Entrance Test body. All three will be combined together into VBSA. But important here is also that funding to the institutions will be kept out of the purview of VBSA. Earlier, UGC was not just regulating the state universities, central universities, and other higher education institutions, it was also responsible for the funding to them.
Yeah.
Here, these two functions have been separated out. And yet, VBSA is going to be a three council kind of a structure. So there would be different councils for regulatory, which AICT, etc. were doing. There is going to be a second council, which is going to look into quality, that is accreditation. And the third council is going to set up the standards of education in India. Now, right now, with so many lakhs of higher education institution, there is no standardization of curriculum. What has to be taught in a particular area? That will become important under VBSA. And therefore, NEP said that we should facilitate movement or mobility of the students. How can a student move from one place to another seamlessly if the curriculum is not same? So these kind of functional gaps are going to be plugged in by VBSA. There are many other things which everybody knows which will happen, but I would like to bring in a counterpoint here. See, education is not a central subject. It is on the concurrent list of the Constitution. That means the policies are made by the central government, the larger framework policies are made by them, but they are adopted and implemented by state. We have to say, and it is too early to say right now, that what kind of direction would VBSA take? Would it be consultative process with the state, or will it be a central regulatory process? In case it is a regulatory process only, where state governments do not have sufficient say in setting up the policies, then there might be some opposition to VBSA, some disruption. But I'm sure think tank behind VBSA has already thought about it, and in the long run, it will bring all the federal states together,
Yeah.
in alignment with the central vision of education in India, because we are now marching towards being at least the fourth largest, moving on to being the third largest
economy.
economy of the world, and education has to be strong. And having the federal, states, and central government's vision disaligned on this subject is not going to help anybody. So, we are very hopeful as academicians that VBSA will bring that very talked about but less achieved integration for national development of education.